everyone, and welcome to the monthly Dive into the Longbox one-shot number 33. I'm Gabe here, joined by Jocelyn as usual, and this time we're going to be reviewing a book that kind of broke the mold of what Marvel Comics was doing back in the day. We're going to be looking at Jim Mahfood's Generation X Underground Special. So people who don't know who Jim Mahfood is, Jim Mahfood was an independent comic artist who worked on things like 40-ounce comics. He worked on Stupid Comics. He worked on Girl Scouts. That's where I mostly know him from. That's the first thing I ever read, actually, was Girl Scouts. And then I proceeded to get his other things like One Page Filler Man, his very rare and expensive comic that I somehow own called We Love Porn.
We Love what now?
We Love Porn, it's called.
I don't even want to put that into Google, I think.
Here, I will put into Google for you. It's literally just, it's Jim doing like an adult comic, but it's not like what you think. It's not like, I'm trying to think how to describe it. It's a lot of him doing like drawing female figures. It's an excuse to draw female figure practice. And it's just him drawing a bunch of naked women. That's really it. You know what I mean?
Okay, it's actually not as bad as I thought.
No, and they tell like stories. They just like, some of them are like inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like some of them are just a little. See, they just show like naked women in it. There's a Christmas story in it where all he wants for Christmas is like he wanted big booty girls for Christmas, and he got them under the Christmas tree because the guy he was talking to was Santa. You know what I mean? That's all it was. But
fair enough.
But Jim got famous for, I mean, in this book, how much does it go for now? Okay, it's only $18 now. When I got it, it was a very hard to get book. There was one selling of it. I had to pay like, I think $40 for it when I got it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, before that, it wasn't on, like, you see how there's like 1, 2, 3. There's like 3 of them you can buy right now, 4 including this one. When I got it, that wasn't the case. Even Googling the book, you would only get the cover. Like, there wasn't inside pictures like this. This is new. Like, these scans. People are maybe just getting their hands on it now. But yeah, when I got it, it was not that easy to get. It wasn't like $12 to get. But I was fine with that because I was like, cool. I got a rare Jim Mahfood book. I love Jim Mahfood. His big claim to fame, besides Generation X, though, was Clerks. He worked on the iconic beginning of Clerks books that would then morph into the TV show. The animated show was actually based off of his art style, tweaked a little bit, which is pretty cool. They even thank him in the credits of the show every time. They say like, "Thank you," like art inspired by Jim Mahfood. Whenever you watch the show, which is pretty cool. But you gotta think, man.
And I mean, I would go as far to say that Jim was probably the perfect person to do a Clerks comic book. Like, I couldn't see anyone else besides him doing it.
Yeah, and you gotta think too, man. 1998. This is when Marvel was really struggling. This was like This was after Heroes Reborn. They just came back. Like the regular heroes came back. Like nothing was really, I don't think anything was really hitting in 1998. So this was Marvel.
Actually, if you want to be really specific, you can even look it up for me because this came out in May of '98. I believe Blade came out in May of '98.
Oh, okay. So outside of comics, yes. I think Marvel, yes, you're correct. Yeah, Blade was 98. But comics, though.
Depending if it came out before or after, I mean, that plays a part in it. But, like, before Blade came out, yeah, Marvel was kind of bleeding money there for a little bit.
This was a big gamble because they brought in someone that was known for doing underground comics. Jim had a you can watch his interview with many different channels on YouTube, including Cartoonist Kayfabe. They had a great deep dive with Jim. They actually look through this book with Jim on their channel, with him reviewing it with them, which is pretty cool. So definitely check that out. But Jim, his claim to fame too, besides doing Clerks, was he would go around in the hip hop scene and he would do live art during hip hop shows, and he would draw the advertisements for the events, naming all the performers and things like that. So he was very known in like the underground hip hop scene, working on all that stuff. So needless to say, Jim was known for doing very well done like street comics and things like that. And Jim, obviously, if you've read or seen any of my art online, Jim Mahfood is a huge inspiration for my cartoon style and everything with Sheedy and Kay. It's that same vibe. But what's interesting about this book, Jocelyn, is that usually Marvel books print on a certain type of paper. This entire book is printed on cardstock. like an
I was
independent,
gonna
like an
say,
independent book.
well, what gave it away is when I looked it up on League of Comic Geek and it said cardstock cover, and I was like, oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
It is on cardstock. The pages on the inside are regular comic pages, but the cover, like an independent book, are on cardstock. So it already doesn't feel like a Marvel book. This is like if this is. It's such an insane thing. This is like if Marvel came up to me when they were struggling. We're like, hey, you want to make like an X-Men story? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, you know, after someone was doing like an image book, which is nuts.
It almost, I would equate it to like in '97 when WWF was struggling. They were like, hey, maybe we should bring in those ECW guys.
Yeah.
See what they can do.
Or if they said, hey, ECW, do you want to put Shawn Michaels on your show? You know what I mean? Let's have you book our world title.
He'll behave, I promise. He'll show up.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to worry about that.
I think if there was any title he should have done, it was this one. This is, I think, made for him because of his underground street style. Generation X was like the cool hip kids in the 90s. Honestly, too, in the 90s for Marvel, Generation X was a high-selling book. So this was a ginormous gamble to have him come on to do a one-shot like this for one of their highest-selling titles. It's such a different style for what's the normal for Marvel Comics. Because even reading this feels like I'm reading an image book. You know what I mean? It does not feel like I'm reading a Marvel book whatsoever in this entire thing. And I think that's what I like about it, because they let Jim do his style. So this is our first real anthology book. It has many different stories in it, which is what Jim did. He had his 40-ounce comics, which were an anthology. His stupid comics were an anthology. So this was him just doing his style of just different little short stories, having fun with the cast of Generation X. Shall we begin here?
Yes, we shall begin.
So here, we do start off this issue of Generation X Underground Special. We see Angelo, who is also, for people that don't know, remember we watched Generation X on on our review of the show. This is Skin, for people that don't know.
What was that? Was that a TV pilot?
It was like a TV pilot, yeah, that just
TV
didn't.
movie, something.
Yeah,
like that? I loved it. It was so bad it was good.
This has the cast you get from there. So we see Skin, who's Angelo, and he's playing Space Invaders. They just name drop it. He's playing Space Invaders, trying to beat his highest score. The name of this story is called The Big Game. This is a Monet that shows up. So if people obviously don't know Monet, that's Monet. I mean, that's just what she went by. Isn't it Monet St. Croix? I think her full name was.
Yes, but I was trying to figure out, is it Monet or is it spelled more literally like, is it Monet?
Monet. Monet.
Monet.
Sorry. I think it's Monet.
Right. I think
Monet
so
St.
too.
Croix, I think. So she asked him, she's like, so what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm trying to beat my high score in Space Invaders, man. And she's like, well, this controller looks old. She's like, why aren't you playing like any of the new games? And he's like, no one needs that bullshit. He basically says, like, no one needs all these graphics or the 32-bit whatever. You just need a nice controller with a little button and a little stick to move. That's all you need. There's no science to it.
So Angelo very ahead of his time, because he knew that emulation was coming.
Yeah.
That people would be emulating games more than they would be playing the current games now.
So then she sits down with him and she looks and she's like, well, you're not cheating in the game, are you? And he's like, no, of course not. And they drop a damn in this. I was like, okay. He's dropping dams in it. So this is the thing too, you'll see with Jim books. He's big on panels. He'll do a lot of like panel heavy because he's good at doing like the short stories to squeeze it all in. He's a character builder too, so there's not like, his books have some action, but they're really big on conversations, which is why I think he was really tailor-made for those Clerks books, because that's all Kevin Smith wanted to do, is books of people talking, you know?
Yeah.
And Jim's like, I can make them talk and I can make it look pretty, and that's what this is here. He's talking to Monet here, and he's asking her, he's like, do you want to play? And she's like, I really couldn't care less about this, really. This is just a video game. He's like, come on, let's just have a little competition. Let's see if you can beat my high score. And he says it here. He goes, come on, Monet, don't be such a sissy girl wussy. And she's like, okay, you're gonna resort to name calling now? What are we, in 4th grade? He's like, come on, let's see who can get the highest score. So she's like, all right, then. You're gonna regret this. So she grabs a controller, and you see hours later, he's watching on, and he looks very tired. And he's like, all right, you're getting pretty good at this. And she's just getting through levels, and then she dies. And then she's like, well, I got another life. So then she keeps playing, and you see it's 4:30 in the morning, and he's like half asleep. I love how he draws him. He's drawn so like distinctly weird. You know what I mean?
Like the bags on his eyes have like bags on their eyes.
Yeah, and his eyes are like
He's
all
like
his
double-layered.
and like from far his eyes are all white. Like he has a very distinct art style, which I love. So she's like, "What's happening? You getting tired watching?" And he's like, "No, I'm fine. You know, I'm gonna go get some coffee." And you see him pouring the coffee. If you look at the amount of sugar he's pouring in the coffee, it's just like
I was gonna say,
a huge
there's
mountain.
more sugar than there is coffee.
Yeah. And in the kitchen, they have like a professional photo in the background of Cyclops.
Yeah, it's just Cyclops cheesing in the background.
So then we see Paige here, who's Husk. She walks over, and while he's making the coffee, and she's like, "Holy shit, Angela, you look horrible." He's like, "Listen, I need to get some sleep. Can you just like check on Monet playing? She's still playing. We're having a little competition. Can you just make sure she doesn't cheat?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed." She's like, "But it's 2:15 in the afternoon." He's like, "Yeah, don't remind me. We've been up all night." So then he lays down, and she's like, hey, Monet, I'm just making sure that you're not cheating. He wants me to check. And she goes, he thinks I'm cheating? And I love the background here in this picture.
I was gonna mention this, yeah.
And there's a sticker and it says Mr. Bin, and it says Jubilee's Comics. Touch them, and I will murder you slowly. And there's a little sticker of Spider-Man. Jim was good with like the scenery. He was known for that. Like cities and rooms, he was really good with details. So she's like, yeah, I don't know. He seemed to be having a whole issue. And you see Paige, she turns on her fucking Walkman to listen to music with the headphones. And then walking up to them is Sink. Sink walks up and he's like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, they're having a little competition and whatnot. And then they cut back to Angelo playing the game. And he's like just screaming at the TV, but he's using his powers and his hands are stretching around the controllers and his own hands. And he's like, die, all you aliens, die! And they're like, so who's winning? And they look at Paige and Paige goes, well, Monet, of course. Like, duh, she's winning.
I was gonna say, which, by the way, there's a poster of Isaac Hayes in the background.
I was just gonna say that there's an Isaac Hayes poster in the back.
Shout out, Chef.
That's awesome. So they're still playing, and she's like, are you gonna give up, Angelo? And he's like, no, I'm not giving up. So it shows they've been playing for 24 hours, and at this point, all of Generation X are in the room, including Leech, with a little pot on his head that he's wearing like a hat. But I had to say, his drawing of Chamber, we'll get into a little later on, he probably is my favorite Chamber artist I've seen. The way he draws him is so cool. But you see them all watching them play the game, and Monet loses. She gets a game over. And he starts laughing at her, and he goes, you just bit the big one, Monet, I win. And then she's like, okay, but did you notice my score? And her score was like 585 million points. So then he's like, beginner's luck. Don't start your celebration yet, honey. I still got one life left. And he poses, and there's a little line here, and it says, just like Bruce Lee. And they're like, holy shit, he's losing it. And then if you look at Paige now, she has the bags under her eyes because of how long she's been watching them play. Like, everyone looks fucking tired. So they're playing the game, and he wins. He beats her 585 million and one. He wins by 1 point. And he's like, see, I beat you. And she's like, well, did you? And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, maybe I just let you win to make you feel good about yourself. See you later. And she walks away all happy, and they all look shocked. And he's like, what's his name pulls up? Sink pulls up. He's like, well, did you really let Angela win? She's like, I'll never tell you. And that's just the story. It's just them playing a video game.
That's it.
That's it. So you'll notice a trend with this story. You'll get stuff like that, which when you're reading it, you're like, yeah, that's probably what these fuckers are doing because they're fucking teenagers. That's probably what they were doing. Like they're like, or not teenagers, but they're like what, in their 20s, early 20s, maybe 19.
Yeah, I was gonna
they're
say
young.
they're young adults.
They're young adults. They in between missions, they're gonna be playing video games and fucking around with each other. You know what I mean? So I like that. It was a little like slice of life. So now we get to where we really kind of have some fun. This is called Jubilee. There's a picture of Jubilee's scrapbook here. And Jubilee's saying, hey, kids, ever wonder what it would be like for the Gen X kids to star in their own wacky 70s TV show? Of course you have. We'll read on and see what happens. So we start off here on Gangster Ave. It's a bad part of town, it says. We see a finger buzzing in here. And we see a person's eyes open up, and they're bugging, looking through the fucking little peephole of the room, and then go, what's the secret catchphrase, sucker? And they say, Nipsey Russell and your mama last night. So you find out this is they're meeting Gator. What a name, Gator. He's asking for merchandise from these two men. And he says, "Don't worry, kids. Uncle Gator's going to take care of you real good. You dig?" And you see it's Sink and fucking Leech. They're tied up here. So they cut now. And so this is all themed in the 70s. So we see the warehouse of Cassidy Investigations, and it's Banshee. And he has like a 70s haircut and a very 70s suit. He's like an agent. And he's talking to Emma Frost, and they're calling all their best men because they're looking for their people that are missing. You know what I mean? And by the way, there's a cool little homage to Wolverine doing the little finger gimmick on the wall. I don't know if you noticed that in his office.
I did notice that.
They get the ransom note from Gator. It's like, "Come and get your boys," basically. And he's like, "Oh my God. We gotta send out the Angels." So it's, instead of Charlie's Angels, it's Banshee's Angels. And it's the team of it's Paige.
Kids just hear the theme song.
It's Paige, it's Monet, and it's Jubilee. So then they're standing at the door, and you see Jubilee go, "Nice logo, Jim," breaking the fourth wall. And fucking Jim Mahfood's behind them. He goes, "Thanks, I spent like 6 hours on it."
Liar.
Liar. I love that the little notes he adds on. So they get a little quick debriefing of what's going on. And this whole thing is tongue-in-cheek. Just making fun of Charlie's Angels and like the wacky 70s over-the-top spy things. They take the mission happily, and they go up to find Leech and Sink that are missing here. So they roll up on the door. They go to Gangster, or not to Gangster Ave. They're not there yet. But they're trying to get in touch with a contact here, and I got to pop out of this one. Because the contact that was waiting for them to talk to was fucking Bishop with an afro.
Yeah.
70s Bishop with the afro, the turtleneck, the chain, the rings on the finger. So he gives them some information on Gator here that they're trying to find. And they're like, "Listen, well, if you want to help us out, we'll give you some money to refresh your memory if you're forgetting any details." And there's a mucho dinero baby bag of money that Jubilee's holding.
Yeah, it literally says that.
To which Bishop says, "Damn, girl, you one bad mamma jamma, you know that?" But seriously, I don't know where that fool is. So he gives him some hints about where his goons hang out. Yes, kids, this is back when goons meant, like, not what you think. Not where he cooned.
It's not what goons mean now.
Oh, and he has the afro pick too in the hair. I can't forget that note. He's got the pick in the hair too.
Oh,
so
that's right.
He gives them the information of where to go, and they thank Bishop, and he says, "You be cool," and he throws up the peace sign to them. And they go to the Lizards Lounge where there's live music happening, and there's a guy smoking a joint. Actually, they got a joint in this comic, which was pretty wild.
That's very surprising.
So you see the girls, they got a guy, they grabbing him here, and they're holding him by the neck, and they're looking for Gator. And he says, "Girl, you straight tripping." That's what he says to Paige. And the goons show up, and they go, "You looking for us?" And they crack their knuckles all happy. And they throw a swing at Jubilee, and she dodges it. And she goes, "Now it's my turn." And she uppercuts the shit out of this fucking big-ass dude with, like, there's, like, Chinese words. I don't know what that says in Chinese. I don't know what it says. Or Japanese, I don't know. I'm not sure what it says. I can't read either.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So then they throw a punch here at Monet. She dodges it. She says, "Too slow." And not only does she dodge it, it says dodge. Like the Biff Bam Pow, it says dodge.
And after that, it says punt.
Yeah, she goes, "Try this on for size." And she kicks the dude in the fucking mouth. And by the way, the entire book's in black and white, like an independent book, which I love. I fucking love black and white books. So they're looking all disheveled and beaten up, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we got beat up by a bunch of girls. Why don't we just shoot them? I mean, they ain't got no guns." And then the next panel, it's like a million guns around them going click, 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 click. And the girls have like 2 guns in each hand pointed at them. And they go, "Take us to Gator now." So they change their clothes, and they go to Gator's house, and they bust through the door in their X-Men clothes, which I thought was a cool little touch. The little matching uniforms. They look like Marvel Girl, Jean Grey, for you youngins that don't know Marvel Girl. So they try to stop Gator, and he's like, "Oh, you freaks, you got here just in time." And they're like, "Oh my god, there they are." And they're hung up on these giant fucking metal scientific like contraptions. It's insane. And you see all these connections there, and there's a little sign that says, "Connect evil robots here." So we find out here that the reason why he stole them, he's trying to cipher off this mutant energy and mutant power to power his army of badass robotic super pimps. That's the whole reason for this. So he sends off his evil robot pimps, and he hits the activate button, and they cipher all the power off, and they get powered up. And this is when we see Monet with a giant gun in her hand. And they're like, "We're ready to fucking go." And Jim's good for drawing women with giant guns. That's what this book here. So this story is what Girl Scouts is for an entire graphic novel. It's shit like this, and them cussing and smoking weed and reading comics. That's what it is, mixed with this. 3 badass girls with guns fighting. Jubilee pulls out a giant boombox, and she's like, Paige is like, "Jubes, what are you doing?" She goes, "Putting on our theme music, of course." So she plays the music, and they go, "Get those funky broads!" And they start fighting. I don't know what the theme music is. I wish there was like a little song you can like search up and listen to.
See, I like to imagine that it's the Charlie's Angels song.
That would be great. But if you look at I was looking at the records here at the bottom. One says funk, so there's funk music there. So I don't know if that's in there or not, but so they fight these.
You think they're shooting goons to like Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Maybe some Marvin Gaye, some Rick James, maybe.
Oh my god. Oh, it's Rick James, 100%, bro. Rick James, of course. So they're shooting at these robots, and they're shooting holes in these robots like they're fucking cable. And they're shooting away, blasting them. And then Paige has the greatest line of this book where it says, "Eat this, vile pimps." She shoots a hole into one of the pimps. And they go, "Hee hee, good one, Paige." And they shoot the pimps again. And then Monet, her gun gets jammed, but then she uses it as a battering ram to take the head off of one of the evil robot pimps. What a sentence. And then one of the robot pimps hits Paige and knocks her away. So Jubilee grabs the evil robot pimp by his head, puts the gun into his forehead and goes, "That's my friend, you jerk," and blows a hole through its fucking forehead. It's insane. So then as they're beating on the pimps here, Monet is fighting 3 at once and tells Jubilee to crank that funk all the way up, sister. And Jubilee says, "You got it." And she turns the music up way too loud. But by doing that, it makes the evil pimp robots accelerate to the air and blow up. So now there's no more evil robot pimps. And Gator's sad. He goes, "No, my super pimps, the raw funk is destroying them." To which Monet goes, "Yo, Gator, dig this," and punches him in the face. And the girl saved the day. They go back.
The way too loud knob.
It's great.
It kind of reminds me. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of in This Is Spinal Tap.
Yes.
Where he turns the knob to 11, and they're like, "But knobs only go to 10." And he's like, "But this one goes up to 11." It's the same thing.
So then they go back to Banshee here at Cassidy Investigations. And he's like, "Good work, Angels. You got Artie and Leech back, and the thwarted Gator's evil plans for world domination." And Leech is all happy, waving with no nose. He's all excited to be back. You see Emma, she thanks them. And they're like, "Yeah, no problem. It's all in a day's work." I like Jubilee's wearing a Funkadelic shirt.
Yeah.
So then they celebrate. And guess what? To celebrate, they all go to the disco tonight. And that's how the story ends. A little fun story of if they were in the 70s, little Charlie's Angels reference. The next page I really like, though, because he does this a lot in his books. So I'm happy he did it in this one where he has like interactive pages. So the next page, it's a scan of like different Gen X members as trading cards. And he calls them bootleg cards. And there's instructions at the bottom that tells you to cut the page out and cut the cards so you can have a collection of these custom bootleg cards that you can like trade with your friends or give to your friends. And it says you can even like photocopy it if you don't want to cut the book up. Like it gives you like actual instructions, even what type of glue to use to make the cards. which is pretty fucking cool.
I would hope that people made photocopies rather than just cut out. You
Cut
know
up
what
the
I
book.
mean? Like,
Yeah. But as
I
you
would
can
hope so.
see from my art, I love drawing people wearing the baggy clothes and everything. Like, look at that picture of Emma Frost, the White Queen. That is the most Jim Mahfood character design ever, of the baggy jacket with the baggy pants on her and the long white shirt. You know what I mean? He wasn't about
is.
sexualizing characters. Like, even Emma Frost got a fucking full baggy fit like she's Billie Eilish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's like wearing like a baggy like cargo jacket.
It's shocking. Husk is the one showing the most skin in this entire book. In that panel where
But-
she's in like her pajamas.
I was gonna say, and even at that, she's just wearing like shorts.
She's like walking around the house with a candle, yeah. Which
Yeah.
it looks great. So this is actually, the next one is actually probably my favorite one of the book. It's a very serious story actually. And it's called Half a Face, and it's following Chamber here. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So it's following Chamber here, and it's Chamber having his inner monologue here, and he's traveling just around the city. And it's just a story about how he's different. Even though he's a mutant, and mutants are different enough, he's different enough from even the mutants on his own team. Because he walks around and he's like, all these kids, like, they have a chance to get away and have fun and have a real life. He's like, but God forbid I try to talk or anything, my power ignites. Like, it's the worst thing in the world. I can't communicate to people. I can't even pretend to blend in like my fellow partners can do. They can go out into the world, act like normal people, no one knows a thing. But for him, he's always different, even with other mutants. And it like weighs on him. And he says that he doesn't feel accepted in any world he's in. It's hard for him to feel accepted. And sometimes it gets to the point where he feels like he has to leave. He has to go. And they show him, he's walking around the city still, and he kind of reflects on his history with Paige, their relationship, and he's unsure about that. And he looks at this bus terminal, and it names all these different cities that he can go to and leave to just get away from it all. And he watches the train go, and this homeless guy asks for money, and he gives the homeless guy money. And the train takes off, and no matter what, he decides to stay with his team because he's loyal to them. And that's the story. It's just a very nice story about Chambers' struggles and how even though he's struggling with all this, he still stays with his team. You know what I mean? I don't know if you had anything to say about this Chamber story. I know there wasn't a lot of stuff to cover because there's no dialogue. You can't talk. It's all like self-reflection, inner monologue.
I don't really know like how to categorize it. Like, it wasn't bad, but it just felt like there wasn't a lot of meat on the bone either.
Yeah, it's just it's like a think piece. It's like a day. It's like so I've noticed these are like slice in the life, and this was like a slice in Chambers' life. What it's like to be him for a day, you know, which I kind of like because I feel like when you read 90s comics, especially Generation X, it was all about the action and the heroic things, and this really tackled like what it's like to have a power where you can't talk to anybody and properly communicate with anyone, where you're different no matter what group you're in. You know what I mean?
I think that it would have worked better. So overall, I would say I enjoyed reading this.
Yes.
But I think that overall, I think this would have worked better as a mini-series rather than a one-shot.
Yes, and I think that's just
rather
due
than
to
a one-shot anthology.
Yeah, and I think that's due to Marvel just giving him a shot to do something. You know what I mean? So they're like, hey, you get to do a book. So I wonder if he was just like, I'm gonna do what I do and just make a bunch of fun stories that are fun to draw. You know what I mean?
And I mean, it is fun overall for what it is.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes I feel like the storytelling is kind of compressed.
Yeah, and it's because you have to fit it. So for people that have read other Jim Mahfood anthologies, they're usually the size of a graphic novel. So you get a graphic novel's length worth of anthologies that you have the freedom of kind of fleshing out the story. They even say let me pull up their exact words in Banshee's Girls when Paige is grabbing the store owner, she grabs him and says, "Hi there, we don't have too many panels to waste in this comic, so where's Gator's henchmen?" So like even he knew he had like 32 pages to work with. He was allowed to do his anthology, and this is what he had to do. But like I said, usually his anthologies are the size of a graphic novel. So that's where he fleshes out stuff a lot more. But I think this was Marvel saying, "Hey, you get like 24 pages to do." I don't even know how many pages this was. Honestly, this felt like
I think it was 35 overall, but I
35
mean, there's a
overall.
couple pages. There's a couple pages there where he'll like use it for like quote
The
unquote like bootleg merchandise.
Yeah, the
Quote
bootleg
unquote.
merchandise and like so yeah, so that's another one of his things in his anthology books. He'll break it up with like art pages. Um, he'll break those up. Like that last page where it's the Banshees Angels bootleg T-shirt. Did you see that? It's just, you can
Yeah,
actually
that was cool.
bring it into a shirt. And he shows you how to. There's a panel step by step, 6 steps of how to bring it into a clothing store and get the shirt made, which is so cool.
That is actually really really cool.
Oh, and then the back cover. I don't know if it's in the digital version. The back cover. He even the back cover is used for ads. He used
Yes.
the last back page as a fucking another story, and it's a parody advertisement ad where he's poking fun at like those paid advertisements in the 80s. And it's these guys talking about like this giant weapon that they're trying to activate and blow up the city. And Gen X shows up and they're like, you know what'll stop you from doing that? A nice bag of Hostess Twinkie cakes. And the guys do like the read like, wow, I never had these Twinkie cakes before, the pastries or whatever. And they talk about it like it's an ad read. And they're like, oh, we don't think we're going to blow up the city anymore. Thanks, Generation X. It's one of those like poking fun ads. But it goes, this following comic is a parody our lawyers made us put up here. And at the end it says, just so you know, like this is a parody. This isn't actually for Twinkie. That is such an indie thing to do, like to poke fun at like the big comics little ads.
It really is.
But like I said, this was an independent. This is Marvel selling an independent comic for one of their titles, which is insane to do.
To wrap it up, I would say I liked it. However, I think that this would have worked better as if Jim was just maybe creating his own characters or bringing in his own characters rather than him doing a Gen X book.
Yeah, and
I would have probably liked that better. And I would have liked it better, like I said, if it wasn't a one shot. If Marvel actually gave Jim the time to tell a story in a 4-issue to 6-issue kind of like a span of time, I think that would have worked a lot better.
Yeah, and like I said, if you think this would be good with his original characters, then Girl Scouts is your book. This was Girl Scouts, but just they swapped characters to be Generation X.
My
Girl
biggest
Scouts
takeaway, though, from this is the humor.
Yes.
The humor's great in this.
Yes, his humor's great. It's like street humor. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, no, this was, and funny, this is the book that Kevin Smith saw and said, I need this guy for Clerks. So this is what got him put on for Clerks, was Generation X. So, yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah.
I can definitely see why.
For sure. And yeah, no, he's gone on. His art style's changed tremendously since then. He's still a great artist. But his art has changed quite a bit. So, as you can see here, his art has changed from what you saw in that book to more of this. He's gone to this more like obscure style, which I still like. It's still very unique, and different like this. And he actually did a recent cover for fucking Ultimate X-Men too. Like his Tankro book looked really cool. Like his recent Girl Scouts. Like it's this very scratchy art, like street art, that he now does. That's just it's a little bit more different, but I like it. And it's right here, Ultimate X-Men. So he's still doing comic stuff. Yeah, right here. He did a variant cover for Ultimate X-Men of Maystorm, which is pretty great.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's
so
really cool.
He's still working, doing stuff for Marvel here and there, but he's mostly still doing independent stuff, and all that shenanigans. But I think if there was any title Marvel would give him in 1998, if you would say, hey, we need this guy who's prominently known for doing street books of like slice of life things, the only thing you can really do is Generation X. I think that's the best fit for him for this book. If Marvel gave him one option, this was the one for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was, but after I read it, I was like, I think I just would have preferred if I would have read something that Jim created himself.
Yep.
And if he wasn't within the confines of like telling a story in one issue, like it just kind of felt disjointed here and there. especially with it being an anthology book.
Yeah. Well, I gotta try to get my hands on an extra copy of Girl Scouts to gift you when you come here.
I would be down to read like Jim's creator-owned stuff. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
That's good. The humor is very prevalent in the series One Page Filler Man. It's when he was tasked of making legitimately a one-page filler story for other anthology books, but he ended up being able to make it into an entire graphic novel called The Further Adventures of One Page Filler Man. Where he like made an intertwining graphic novel story, and then he put all of those one filler stories at the end that he got famous from. But yeah, no, his creator-owned stuff is phenomenal. I would say definitely check it out. There's a reason why I like Jim Mahfood so much. His creator-owned stuff is great. It's all that style that I love, and I wish I saw more in comics. I think that style is very of the time. There's not much like it, and that's why I'm trying to draw in a style that's like that. You know. The big shoes,
Very
the
of the time.
big sneakers, the animated-looking faces. I try to capture the love for that. And Jim, actually, I got in contact with Jim Mahfood not too long ago, who gave me some. I asked for some advice and some thanks for the art he's done, and he gave some props actually for my art, which I thought was pretty cool. It was a big thing for
really
me.
Cool.
So yeah, keeps me motivated, you know.
That's a good motivator.
He was telling me it looked good. And he told me to keep on working on it. He told me it looks good and to keep on drawing. Big shout out to Jim Mahfood, the homie. So,
hell yeah.
That was Generation X Underground Special. Until then, we'll see you guys on the next issue where we review Stripperella. and on the next one-shot, I guess I could talk about what we're going to talk about in the next one-shot. Were you curious? We're talking about the next one-shot? Huh? I thought because it's the holiday season for December, you and I have once talked about a iconic toy pack, action figure pack, that we both said we would like to have. And it is none other than Hearts of Darkness, the series with Ghost Rider, Punisher, and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that. That's
yes.
Right.
So I thought, why not? Because kids were getting that for Christmas back in the day. Why not review the book it's associated with? That nice little short story they got. So I thought we're gonna be reviewing that for the month of December.
Oh yeah, I'm down for it.
Absolutely. But until then, we'll see you guys in the next one.